Hello and welcome back. Today I want to talk about manifestation and specifically how to speed up our manifestations. I am very good at manifesting things to the point where it's almost a little bit scary. I gotta be careful what I think and what I say out loud. But I'm really good at allowing things to come in quickly. You can ask the people in my life. I would say this is a big skill of mine because I know how to work with energy. And so I want to talk about 10 key things I do to make my manifestations come to fruition more quickly if I want to speed up a timeline. So I've got a variety of different techniques I like to use. So let's go ahead and jump into 10 different things I do to speed up my manifestations. So the first one is I focus on being as magnetic as I can be. When I want to bring something in quickly, my main priority is feeling lit up, feeling inspired, just feeling like I'm on a high. So I spend my time doing things that make me feel magnetic. I do things that make me feel creative. I have a lot of fun. I will be really social. I mean, whatever is fun for you. For me, things that are fun are going out with my friends, having days where we go to Disneyland or we just do inner child stuff, laughing a lot, going on adventures, traveling, things like that. For me, life experience is really fun, and also just anything that just makes me feel super lit up and creative. That makes me feel really magnetic. So for me, writing is probably my main creative outlet. I love to write poetry. I love to write short prose, things like that. And so those are just some examples of things that are really fun for me and make me feel magnetic. Whenever I'm in a flow state and I just feel like, oh, that was so good, that's what I'm looking for. I also love to bake. I'm a big baker. It doesn't matter what it is, but it's just things where I feel like I'm on top of the world. I feel like I'm in a flow state. I just feel like I'm having a great time and also just feeling really good about myself. So, sometimes I'm dressing up more often, just like things that make me feel like life is great, life is fun, I feel magnetic, whatever that is for you. So I really focus on having fun. This makes your manifestations come in really quickly because it releases a lot of energetic attachments, and some of these other points I'm going to make are connected to that. But when I prioritize fun, and I put this first because if I could just say one thing, it is this. It's really just what's going to make me feel magnetic, which is I like to have fun and feel good about myself. So I do whatever I need to do for that to happen. That allows your manifestations to come in really quickly because you've released resistance. You're not overthinking about the thing. You are allowing energy to move and you're in that super magnetic state. And so a lot of times when people are manifesting something specific, they're so focused on that thing that they're actually deflecting it. They're actually pushing it away. We don't want that. So I just focus on having fun in general in my life, and it keeps me in the state of just feeling like I'm on a high. And honestly, I tend to get really busy when I'm trying to bring a manifestation in more quickly because I'm just filling my time in a good way with things that I love, which I tend to live like this, which is why in general my manifestations come in quickly. But again, if I could distill it down into one thing that I tangibly do, I'm just focused on filling my day and my life with as many fun, exciting things where I feel lit up, no matter how big or small that is. And it doesn't really take much. I just find things that I just have that little fun. I love that kind of feeling in my daily life, and it makes you magnetic. And when you're magnetic, your manifestations come to you. You want to be in the frequency where things are being drawn to you instead of going and trying to make something happen or looking for it. So when I am so amped up and loving my life, the things that I'm manifesting come straight to me. I don't have to try. And think about that just in terms of interpersonal interactions. I think most of us know that when someone is super happy, joyful, just loving life, you're drawn to them. People are drawn to that person. What's in your Kool-Aid? What's going on? So it's like that with everything in the universe. So number one is I focus on being magnetic, and I focus on just like having fun. The second thing that I do is I start doing new things. So I make little changes in my life. I might switch up my morning routine, my evening routine. I might go on a different walking route during the day because I like to go on walks. I might just switch up little things. I might change out my morning bevy, things like that. And I try and get around new things. So I might learn about a new topic, watch a different type of show, read a different type of book, listen to a different type of podcast, start to hang out with different people. I'm basically just trying to get in the energy of newness, and I'm trying to make small changes to shake up the energy. And so whenever we're trying to bring something new into our lives, energetically, what we want to do is kind of shake up our field and open up our energy field, our auric field, so that new things can come in. What happens is we tend to be creatures of habit, and we can create these vibrational grooves and be doing the same thing every single day. And what that kind of does is it sort of closes the doors on new things coming into our lives. And so we want to hit that from different angles energetically in terms of opening up the door so that new things can come in. And so if I'm already in the frequency of change and newness, that makes me vibrationally available to receive new things, to receive change in my life. And whenever a manifestation comes to fruition, that does require change and newness. So I try and just get in the energy of newness as much as I can, so that my field is already calibrated to new things come on it. That is another really important thing. The third thing is I get ready for it to come. And what goes along with this is I'm expecting it to come quickly. I'm not expecting it to take a long time. And there is this really important sweet spot where I'm not attached to the timeline. I'm not worried about when it's going to come in at all. I know it's going to come in when it's meant to, and I'm also expecting it to come in really quickly. And let me tell you, this works a lot. I mean, I think about manifesting living spaces where I have like 2 weeks to find a new house, manifesting my car when I literally had 1 week and it was the last week of the year and there were none of this car at any of the dealerships, things like that. I am expecting it to come in quickly. I just know it's going to come in quickly, so I don't worry about it because I know that. And what that means, I'm preparing for it to come in quickly. So anything I need to change in my lifestyle or just logistics, and depending on what I'm manifesting, that will be different. So for example, if you're manifesting a partner, I'm looking at like my daily routines. I'm looking at, I don't know, even just things like, when I'm not dating much, I'm not shaving my legs as often. So I'll start shaving my legs, things like that. It's like, I'm like ready for it to come in. I'm ready to get asked on a date, things like that. That's like a really simple one. Or, creating space in your home, creating space in your schedule. With like my car, for example, I had a lot of things logistics wise to kind of deal with my old car, because I had to plan on getting rid of it. So I was taking care of all of that, planning on, hey, by the end of the week, I'm going to have a new car, even though I didn't know I was going to have a new car. So if there's logistics things like that, there have been things where I buy the outfit for the event or for the opportunity for the speaking thing, even though I haven't landed it yet, and I buy the outfit first and then I get the invite. So things like that, I'm getting prepared for it to come in because I'm expecting it to come in quickly. Mentally, emotionally, physically, I'm fully prepared. It should not feel like a surprise when it comes in. And I always ask people that. I'll say, okay, if you got this thing that you want tomorrow, if tomorrow this person said, hey, I want to be in a relationship with you, or if tomorrow that big speaking opportunity came in, or if tomorrow you had 50 new clients coming in the door, are you ready? And usually people are like, no, I got to do some stuff. So do that stuff now. That helps speed it up, because where we're not ready is where we are energetically blocking it from coming in quickly. And a lot of the time, we're the ones that drag out the timeline just because we're not ready. And it could have come in quickly if we're fully ready. So going along with that, being ready, is I dive deep into my own inner work, my own shadow, inner child healing, shifting limiting beliefs, like anything coming up in that area. The sooner I jump in, the better. And I just like take a deep dive into how much I can learn. Usually when I'm manifesting something, there's been, I don't know, maybe some kind of previous experience that is connected to what I want to manifest in next. And I'm really looking at, did I learn all of the lessons from that previous experience, kind of integrate in what I learned into this, into getting ready for this to come. Is there any healing I need to do around this, particularly around relationships and things like opportunities that are going to expand us and grow us? Is there any piece of me that thinks that I'm not ready, I'm not worthy, that I'm going to get judged? Any fears that are coming up? Any part of my inner child that doesn't want to do it because my inner child's afraid of being judged or hurt or shamed, or not being able to handle it? Or is there any connection to an experience I had before where maybe it didn't go very well? Do I have any kind of traumas connected to it? Anything in that realm, I dive into the deep inner work like sooner rather than later. This is part of getting ready energetically and emotionally, and I want to make sure there's no kind of deep beliefs that are blocking me from bringing it in. So I really dive headfirst into that. I spend a lot of time doing that. Like usually when I decide, hey, I want to manifest this and I want it to come in really fast, I'll spend like my weekend just going deep into my stuff and clearing it, dealing with it, getting right in the middle of it, speaking truth into it, clearing out those energy knots, looking at it, a lot of journaling. You know, if you have professionals you work with, that's a great opportunity to dive into it as well. But I don't like wait for it to come up. I get ahead of it. And that's really important. The next thing that I do is I connect in with people who already have what I want. And so that could be people I know in my life, or it could be people through social media or podcasts or whoever. And by connecting in with, you know, if I know them and I might spend more time with them or time around them. If I don't know them personally, I will just listen to more interviews with them or watch more of their content or whatever it is, because I'm trying to get in the frequency of it. And a little bit, and I'll certainly start with however they created what it is I'm looking to create as well, because I want to hear about their mindset. I want to hear what worked for them. I want to hear like any changes they made to get from this place to that place. But more than that, I'm usually just trying to get in their frequency outside of that specific thing, because I'm not trying to overthink that specific thing. And so the thing is that when people have attracted in something like we desire, there's a reason why they're energetically, vibrationally available. And a lot of times people are really just focused on, oh, how did you build this business? How did you attract in your significant other, whatever, in this very kind of one-to-one perspective. But most of the clues about what made that person vibrationally available to create that thing or attract in that thing are often outside of what they think it is. It's about how they show up. And when we are manifesting, we're manifesting and attracting as a whole person, as our whole frequency. And the ways that we show up in one part of our life are going to affect what we attract in other areas of our lives. The ways that we do one thing or the ways that we do everything. It's all connected, because we're one person showing up everywhere. And so I'm typically just trying to get in their general frequency and picking up on things about their mindset, habits they have in their daily life that a lot of people, I think, don't realize they're connected, but they are connected. And a lot of this has to do with some iteration of where they're in a higher abundance consciousness, or they are in a deeper level of self-worth or self-love or self-trust in that particular area of their lives, or even just a lot of it has to do with daily routines and priorities and how they prioritize things, and again, how they think about things. And it's really helpful to just learn how people think about things, like even outside of what you're specifically manifesting, certainly that too, but I'll just try and get around that energy, you know? So if I have a friend who, let's say, is really good at, I don't know what it would be, I guess, like I think about, you know, here's a good one. When I first was trying to make 7 figures, I started hanging out around my friends where money was really easy for them. And I wasn't asking them about money all the time. And I wasn't asking them all these like annoying questions, trying to get them to business coach me. That's not their job. But I was just hanging out with them, and I was noticing how they behave in their lives. And I started to notice that they all had similar priorities. They all managed communication in a similar way in terms of how they responded to texts, phone calls, how they prioritized their day. They had similar morning routines. They also had very similar mindsets, just in terms of abundance, like that I would notice going out to meals, or how they related to the idea of competition. And usually they didn't really even think about competition. I just started noticing things, and being in their frequency definitely like elevated me, and for sure helped me become a vibrational match for that. And so that's one example in my life, but you could use this in any example of your life. You know, one I was telling a friend recently was, I told her to spend a lot more time around all of her friends who she feels like have really healthy relationships, and just notice, just get curious, and just pay attention to how they show up in their dynamic, how it might be different than what you might naturally do, the things that they say, the way that they hold their energy. And a lot of this really comes down to just being aware. because these are all energy shifts. These are all energy shifts that open us up to receiving what we want. And it's just about moving through our world consciously and realizing how, hey, there's a reason why that quality is attractive for XYZ, whatever it is. And even just in general, hanging out around, whatever that means, connecting in with people who are really good at manifesting. Because people who manifest things really quickly, who are in the flow with the universe, they all have similar traits, and you'll notice they have similar beliefs. They move through the world similarly. And so picking up on that is really helpful. And the more you get in that frequency, the better. Like, the thing is, if I spend a lot of time around people who aren't in alignment with those things I want to manifest, like, I'm actually going to be deflecting it because I'm spending more time around a vibration that's out of alignment with what it is that I'm trying to attract in. So just telling you what works for me. The next thing that I do is I release as much old stuff as possible. So in especially in whatever area it is I'm looking to manifest something new in, I will go on a cleanse, and in general I'll just go through releasing. It's really helpful to just release energy to create more space for what you want to come in. And a lot of people don't realize the things that are actually blocking them from manifesting what they want. Like how sometimes it could be this one friend who keeps draining all your energy, who's actually blocking your romantic partner from coming in, or it's your social life on the weekends that's blocking you from, hitting your next income goal, things like that. Our lives are holistic. We're holistic beings, and so our frequency is affected by all of that. And it's often a block not in the realm of life that people are manifesting in that's stopping the thing from coming in. So I will release everything that feels heavy, everything that feels old, everything that feels non-resonant with where I want to be heading, anything that I'm like, that this doesn't come with me. I'm tapping into that version of me, and I'm saying that doesn't match that version of me. That's not going to be there with that version of me, and I release a lot. And I try and keep my life as simple, as minimalistic as possible during these times to make sure that things don't get in the way. Now, along with that is I will use a frequency anchor. So, frequency anchor, I will pick up through a meditation. So I will typically do a meditation, tap it in the timeline where I have that thing, the version of me that has that thing. I'll go into my Akashic records. I'm tapping in the timeline where I already have that thing, and I'm picking up on any habits, any routines, any things I own, any things I wear that I have in the timeline where I already have that thing, and then I start implementing them in my life. And another way of saying this is I live as the version of myself that already has it. So I might notice that when I tap in there, that version of me wears her hair a certain way, wears certain colors. It's a color thing for me. I might notice my morning routine is something specific, and I will go ahead and swap that out because I'm basically using a frequency anchor to shift me onto that timeline specifically. And that is very, very helpful. Now, the next thing I do, number 8, this is, I think about other things. So I know some of these are connected to what I'm trying to manifest, and I try and do all of the manifestation stuff connected to that thing first, get it out of the way. So I'm like, great, I'm good to go, cleared out all the blocks, and now I just live my life and I be magnetic. I let it go. And the easiest way for me to let it go is I usually find something else to think about. I create some other goal for myself. There's a skill I want to learn. There's a topic I want to learn about. I try and immerse myself in something else to force myself to not worry about that, to not think about it. I busy myself in other ways. It works for me. So I'll pick up some random documentary that I'm super into and start learning about a random topic. I'll pick a random book and I'll start diving into something I haven't learned about before. I might be extra social and be all excited about other people's lives, like whatever it is. So I just do whatever I need to do, not think about it. If I'm not filling my mental space with something else, like a project or a goal or a skill or something, I typically will just start thinking about that thing again. So I keep myself busy and I try and be productive. So, it's a great time to learn a new skill, to get better at something, pick up a hobby, pick up a sport, whatever it is. New stuff. Number 9 is nervous system regulation. And so I really just try and make sure I'm keeping myself in a regulated state as much as possible. I think that people think regulated state is just like calm and peaceful, and it's not that. It's regulated. And you can be calm and just be having a great freaking time. And I actually find that one of the best ways to regulate the nervous system for me is having just pure fun. Inner child, pure fun. And nervous system regulation in itself is kind of a whole other topic. I have a lot to say about that. Whether that's traditional nervous system regulation work that works for you, things like, I know people like tapping, somatic exercises. For me, I'm more of an energy work person, and I'm more of a clearing person. I'm a grounding person. I'm a nature person. I am a thought shifting kind of person. I'm a creative person. So lots of different ways to regulate the nervous system. You got to find what works for you. But I'm just keeping myself in that state of like regulation and inner peace, inner joy. And that opens up my field to manifest in what I want. If you are really dysregulated, your nervous system doesn't feel safe, and when we don't feel safe, we don't attract in new things, because our energy field is like, I'm overwhelmed, I can't handle this, I need my feet on the ground, so don't send me anything new to deal with. I can't handle any more change. So for example, one thing that will really throw me off is if I'm traveling a lot and I'm just like not sleeping enough, I'm going from one thing to the next, that gets me really dysregulated. I'm not in a state to receive. I'm not at all. That doesn't mean I have to be just like doing nothing and meditating all day and getting massages. I mean, that's nice, and if I have time, I'll be enjoying myself. But I'm also doing stuff. I'm just doing it in a regulated state and making sure it's not ungrounded. So I focus on my nervous system being regulated, and if that's not regulated, it's one of the top things I gotta fix, because that doesn't mean you got to heal all of your trauma to manifest in one thing. I'm not saying that, but it's possible to be in a regulated state and still have other stuff to work on in the background. That's okay. But it's really just about living in the present moment, bringing conscious awareness to the present moment. Meditation is a really great thing for me. Just coming into the present and setting intention for what I'm going to do next. Staying focused on what I'm focusing on, not letting things throw me off track, not worrying about kind of other people's stuff. All of that keeps me regulated. Now, the last thing, number 10, that's really the most important thing, and this is what moves things along really quickly, my bread and butter energy work. Energy work is the cheat sheet to life, and there is a reason why, people come in for sessions with me. It's like pretty instant. They'll notice things change within, if not like the next couple of days, the next couple of weeks, where what they're manifesting will come in really quickly, because what we do in energy work is we're clearing out the energy field, and we're clearing out any energetic blocks to receiving that thing. So a lot of things that keep our nervous system dysregulated and that block us from receiving our manifestations are just that it's our frequency isn't aligned as a vibrational match for that thing, or our energy field isn't open to receive that thing. So we can open up our field and shift our vibration to be a vibrational match for that thing by clearing out our energy field and calibrating that energy field to be open to receiving it. It's pretty cut and dry, and it's my favorite cheat sheet, and it works. So that is why I love energy work, and a lot of this other stuff I talk about, when I'm doing the energy work, that's where I'm tapping in the highest timeline. I'm getting the frequency anchors. I am getting inspiration for what's going to make me feel most magnetic. I am going into my inner child stuff. I'm going into any shadows. I'm rewiring any beliefs that are not in alignment with me receiving that thing. So it really is a shortcut. And if I do a little bit of energy work, small dose every single day, I know that things come in really quickly, and sometimes it just takes one really good clearing session. So this is why when I teach about creating the life that you want and manifesting things, energy work is really at the core of it. It makes everything so much easier and allows us to see the things we weren't able to see before. So it just opens up our field so we don't have resistance to clearing out a lot of those blocks and limiting beliefs, and it works past the conscious brain. And it really is just working energetic to energetic, which is what we're doing anyway. So instead of trying to do all these things on the surface to change our frequency, we're just going in and clearing our frequency. Pretty simple. If you're interested in that, I have a free download for an energy clearing and activation. We'll put that in the description below. And this is exactly why for Next Level You, which is my membership all about how to manifest the life you want. This is why the core of this is a lot of energy work and energy activation. So there's a huge library of different energy healings, different guided meditations to help you do all of the above, as well as trainings and lessons where I'm diving deeper into these concepts and really how to manifest what you want. So it's all in there. There's a 7-day free trial. We'll put that in the description below as well. Definitely check it out. But I hope that this gave you some good ideas about what you can do to bring in your manifestations more quickly. I'm telling you, I know this sounds like a lot of stuff, but a lot of these overlap. And when you get in the flow of this, things come in really, really quickly and you don't even have to think about it. And that's what's great is a lot of these things, when you dive into it, you don't have to spot manifest anymore. You just think about something, you just intend, you set a clear intention, it just comes in because you're doing all of the root cause work all the time. And really, if I could say one thing, I would say focus on your energy field. Like, do that energy work, do the meditations that I have in the membership, use this free energy clearing, and you will notice a difference. So just hold that intention and trust that it's coming in. Because that's the key with manifesting anything quickly. It is knowing it's coming in and allowing it. It's getting out of the way. So I hope that this was helpful. Leave a comment below. If it was, let me know which of these you feel like you could lean into a little bit more. It definitely works. And hit the thumbs up button if you think this was helpful as well. I always love to hear from you guys, and maybe send the link to someone you know if you think this would help them too. All right, so thank you so much for tuning in with me today, and I will chat with you again very soon.